All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we are going to be um, doing another Kaggle study stream, another data science study stream, where we are going through Kaggle Learn and trying to finish as many of the courses as we can. We are currently on I actually like that intro. I like that way of, because, each time that I do one of these streams, I kind of fuck up the intro um because my mind kind of just goes all over the place. Even though I know exactly what I'm planning on doing, my mind just goes all over the place when I'm explaining it. um so yeah, I like this way of explaining it, that we are doing another data science study stream where we are going through all of the courses in Kaggle Learn and trying to finish as many of them as we can, and we are currently on um the pandas course. Now the good news is we might actually be finishing the pandas course today, so I'm excited for that. If there is more time, then I'll start the intermediate machine learning course as well. That's the course that's immediately after pandas. Actually, let me confirm that that's the case, because I want to make sure that it's intermediate machine learning immediately after pandas, and not data visualization, because we have data visualization and intermediate machine learning. I kind of want to check what. Hold on. Actually, I have a thing here where I can check that out. Either way, doesn't matter. Whichever one it is, I believe it is intermediate machine learning. So after pandas, we will be jumping into intermediate machine learning, and after that, we'll be looking at data visualization, which should be exciting because that is going to be exploring how to do data visualizations with Seaborn. A huge plus point for me, a huge like advantage for me, is that I'm already well versed with Matplotlib. Well, I don't know if I would say well versed, but like I've used it a bunch of times. I've used it for like practical purposes as well. I've used it in projects where I needed some form of, like, I've used it in IRL projects. I've done customizations to a certain extent. So I kind of know my way around Matplotlib, and that's kind of why I'm happy to see something that's built on top of Matplotlib, like Seaborn, which, by the way, initially, yeah, it was built on top of Matplotlib, and you were using a lot of like high level functions which were calling into Matplotlib code, at least from my understanding. But then later on, I believe they did develop their own sort of separate API, which I'm not sure what that is using under the hood for rendering. But I'd been meaning to check out Seaborn as well for a while, and this is great. This is what's gonna get us to that point, because I never really managed to get to that point where I was able to just start doing Seaborn stuff, because each time I would just get distracted with something. This is one of the reasons why I'm really glad that I decided to do this course. Not just this course, but do Kaggle Learn in general, because it kind of made me explore all of these concepts that I wanted to explore, concepts, frameworks, libraries, whatever, subjects in general that I wanted to explore for a while. And I did try to explore in the past, but each time something would get in the way, because of which I wouldn't be able to explore it, or I wouldn't be able to start exploring it, or if I did start, then I wouldn't be able to continue exploring it. Usually I would end up getting distracted with something. So Kaggle Learn is a great. Give me a second. I need to make sure that we have video feed. I don't know if it's just my Twitch app bugging out, or what. Give me a second, because I have my stream open on. Okay, yeah, we're good. Great, awesome. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So we are hopefully going to be finishing the pandas course today. We are on the very last chapter of it, which is, give me a second, which is renaming and combining. Before this, yesterday I finished grouping and sorting. That was, dude, grouping and sorting. I'm so glad that I went into it. I'm actually so glad that I decided to go all the way with this pandas course because, like I'd mentioned before, I knew the basics of pandas, but then these more advanced concepts like summary, well, not summary functions, but maps, map and apply, where you can basically apply a function to uh, to an entire data set or to like a column of the data set and stuff like that. These are powerful things that I never really tried before. And then grouping. Sorting I've done to a certain extent, but grouping I hadn't done. I had done grouping in my own way, which was a more complicated way. If I had known how to use this kind of grouping, how to use something like group by, the group by function in order to group data together, I would have had a slightly easier time. I would have been able to do things a little more efficiently, at least in my opinion. Because now that I've actually done things in a different way in the past, now that I'm learning this, I'm like, yeah, I could have come up with intuitive ways to group data and manipulate the data using these kinds of functions. We also touched briefly, very briefly, on the concept of multi-indexing. I didn't really learn multi-indexing through the course, like at all. It just kind of introduced us to the concept of multi-indexing, and then it said that uh, most of the time you're going to be using multi-indexing or most of the time that you're going to be dealing with multi-indexing is when you're trying to reset it using the reset index function, which is going to change it from a multi-index to a single index. And that's not really what I was looking for. What I'm looking for is knowledge on how to actually deal with multi-index data frames. So I guess I'm going to have to take out some time to read on the Pandas website itself because they have like plenty of information on multi-indexing and the various use cases and stuff. One use case that I've already seen is pivot tables. I wanted to get into pivot tables, but then when I started seeing multiple indexes there or multiple indices, multi-index, when I started seeing multi-index indices there, I kind of got confused as to how I'm meant to be indexing the data frame and how I'm meant to read data, how I'm meant to manipulate data and stuff like that. So I was like, let me read multi-indexing and understand multi-indexing properly first, and then we can deal with multi-index stuff. But yeah, other than that, it did teach me a lot about grouping data, and the exercises were also fun. Some of them, unfortunately, I did have to just get the solution after trying for a bit, but I'm glad that I at least tried, to solve it. Most of them I was able to solve by myself. It was mainly the last one, the last one that I wasn't able to solve. And then we had data types and missing values, which was, um, dude, I think this only took me like half an hour or 1 hour. There wasn't like, because I've used these functions before. It was basically teaching you about like data types in in pandas and how each column has a data type and how you can access the data type, how you can convert the data type, how you can find out null values, nans, how you can replace values, how you can fill null values with something else, stuff like that. So that went by very quickly as well. This was probably one of the fastest um, chapters that I've done, one of the fastest tutorials, and one of the fastest exercises as well. It was this one, data types and missing values. And now only this one remains, which is renaming and combining. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I guess let's begin. So we'll start by reading, and as it is with every chapter in this course, the idea is that you're supposed to be reading and also be doing the exercise side by side. But for shorter chapters, I've found it slightly easier to just read the entire chapter and then go and do the entire exercise. However, for longer chapters, it is helpful to read a chunk of the tutorial and then go and do exercises relating to that, then read another chunk, and then go and do exercises relating to that, because it helps you remember stuff a little more easier, especially if it's a newer concept for you. Then, absorbing the knowledge in one small amount and then going and doing exercises specifically related to that, um, it helps. It definitely makes things slightly easier for you, and you'll actually be able to solve the problems. But yeah, anyways, this doesn't seem like a very big chapter. Let's see. Okay, introduction. So oftentimes data will off to a bad start. Okay, oftentimes data will come to us with column names, index names, or other naming conventions that we are not satisfied with. In that case, you learn how to use pandas functions to change the names of the offending entries to something better. You'll also explore how to combine data from multiple data frames and or series. Okay, cool. So we start with renaming. This is our code. What is being loaded? Wine mag. Okay. So I have this code here. This is what I've been using yesterday the entire time, throughout, like, multiple chapters and exercises and stuff. I guess I can delete. Well, I'll hold on to that because these two series that I had made, they were for checking something. Actually, I don't need this series anymore. This was for something else. And then the other series was just for IntelliSense purposes, because with pandas, certain things are dynamically generated, and so, as in certain methods and stuff, uh, the linter is not going to know. It's not going to know what possible functions you could have or what possible attributes could be accessed. But that happens once you go like deeper. Um, you know, this dot that, and then the linter doesn't know what comes next because the thing is being dynamically generated during like runtime. So you kind of have to just know the the function names and arguments and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why I created this series. So I would have access to various series related functions in case I needed to remember them or something. And then I would do the same thing with the data frame as well. But yeah, okay. So uh, I guess we can get rid of a bunch of these. We won't really be using any of these now. Yeah, these are all done. Wait, that's weird. Why is that happening? So, okay, I don't know what I did wrong there, but anyways. Right, I don't think we need these either, and now we are ready to go. This is the exact data set, isn't it? Yeah. Dude, I'm still confused as to why we had all of these other data sets. There were like, I don't know, 8, 9 data sets in total in this entire course. For some reason, all these data sets have been added here. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if they're going to be used at some point later on, and that's why they've been added here, or like what's going on. I'm not sure. But when I first started the pandas course, I was like, okay, let me do this new thing where on my local machine I'll set up a separate Python project specifically for the pandas course, and in that I'll create a datasets folder, which is this, and then in that I'll download all of these. I didn't really download it into this project directly. I downloaded it on another machine using the Kaggle CLI, which, dude, Kaggle CLI made things a little more easier for me in terms of like downloading data sets and stuff and doing other stuff as well. I'm definitely going to be using the Kaggle CLI in the future. But yeah, Kaggle CLI made it so much easier. So I downloaded a bunch of these data sets individually, and once the entire set of directories was ready, like all the data sets were ready in one folder, I just used SCP, which is a SSH file slash directory copy command. Hold on, let me see what the exact name for the thing is. It is OpenSSH Secure File Copy. So that's what SCP stands for. Yeah. Um, I wait. Hold on. Um, okay. Actually, before I make this mistake again, let's detach from here so that does not happen again. Great. Now, what was I doing? Yeah, I then used SCP to transfer the entire directory from that machine to this machine. And the transfer didn't take time either. So now I don't know if I'm going to be using these data sets in the future courses, but I'm definitely going to be holding on to these data sets because I feel like I can do a lot of practice with them. It's about 1.5 GB worth of data. Um, and I feel like I can do quite a lot of practice with them, be it through Kaggle or through Gemini CLI. Because what I'm planning on doing is I want to try this thing. I want to see how well Gemini CLI handles this for me. What I want to do is I want to create a project, um, and in that it'll be a Python project, and in that project I'll of course install NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Vizidata, scikit-learn, and if there's anything else that I need to install, maybe I'll install that as well. And I'll have one of these data sets in that project. Then I'll open up Gemini CLI in that directory, and because Gemini CLI has it has actions that it can take. It has access to certain tools like file reading, file writing. It can traverse directories as well, and a couple other things. There's select few functions that it has, including a Google search function, which is very useful. But yeah, there's a select few functions that it can select few actions that it can take locally, and fortunately, it does ask you for permission before doing this each time. So what was I saying? Yeah, fortunately, it does ask you for permission each time. So you don't need to worry about it just taking actions without you knowing. Um, where was I going with this? Yeah, yeah. So what I want to do is I want to try getting Gemini to set up exercises for me. And if the exercises work out well, maybe I could post them um, to Kaggle or maybe even to GitHub itself. Why did I say itself? Anyways, yeah, maybe I could post it to Kaggle or GitHub or both. I don't know. Because I wanna set up a thing where I'm able to practice the stuff that I've learned. They didn't have a NumPy course. I don't remember if NumPy was mentioned briefly in any of the courses. I don't know if it might be mentioned at some point later on, but they definitely don't have like a dedicated course for NumPy. Why was I talking about NumPy? Oh yeah, I wanna make sure that every now and then I'm doing these exercises where I'm able to sharpen my NumPy, my pandas, matplotlib, seaborn, and possibly also scikit-learn skills. Maybe also my Data skills. So what I want to try doing is I want to set up a project and then open up Gemini CLI in that project and then have it um, come up with a scenario for me, some sort of puzzle that I have to solve. I'm going to have to see how I'm going to present this in a GitHub repo because I'm not going to be doing this as like a notebook. This is all going to be like scripts and oh, you know what? No, I could do it as a notebook as well. Uh, I could do it as a notebook as well, but like I'm not leaning too much towards notebooks. The only time I would think about doing it as a notebook is if I'm pushing the code to Kaggle to run, in which case it's all the code is running in one cell. So like it's not really a notebook, I guess. That's one situation. And another situation is if I'm actually like presenting something. So if I was trying to explore a data set and um, I wanted to present how I how I explored the data set and the various things that I found in it. I wanted to post various data visualizations and stuff like that, and also have code for people to run if they want to, generate the visualizations or generate the analysis reports and stuff themselves. In that case, I might use a notebook, but like for the most part, I'm aiming towards writing full Python scripts. So I think I might structure the code and I might structure the project in that way. Like maybe um, I could have one, well, I could have one big project, right? As in one project with up to like, I don't know, 20 exercises. Um, and they could all be like varying levels of difficulty. And it can all be based on one data set. And then I could link that data set in like the GitHub repo. I could link it back to Kaggle. I can be like, yeah, this is where I got the data set from. I mean, I already have these all of these data sets. These are like in total how many? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So I've got 11 data sets already. And these are all from Kaggle, by the way. These are all from Kaggle, not just from Kaggle. These are actually they're all from Kaggle, but it's not only that. These what was I saying? Yeah. It's not just not only are they all from Kaggle, they're all from this one course. They're all from this Pandas course, which again, I'm confused as to why they are mentioned here when they are not really being used at all. I have no idea like what's the idea there. Um, I'm confused. I don't know if oh, you know what? This says version 26 of 26. I wonder if I look at the older versions, maybe I might find the older data sets being referenced. That being said, if a data set is not being referenced, why is it not like removed from the input? Could it be like some sort of something to do with like backwards compatibility in some way? I have no idea how backwards compatibility would even apply here. Um, anyways, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to try and use Gemini CLI to generate these exercises and puzzles for me, just to keep my NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, scikit-learn, and Data skills sharp. I'm gonna have to see how to go about structuring these because I want something to focus on all of them, but like, how do I even say this? Like, I want to focus on all of them, but at the same time, I want to do all of them together because all of them I'm going to be using them together for data science. So like, I don't know if all of them should be, all of the puzzles should be, or rather, a puzzle should be involving all of these libraries together, these libraries and tools together, or if a puzzle should focus on specific tools. Or we could make it such that, like, in the earlier exercises, the easier exercises, we we kind of do individual libraries, and then as the exercises get harder and harder, we start to combine multiple frameworks together. How long have I been yapping, dude? Holy shit. It's 28 minutes into the stream and we haven't started this. Give me a second, let me hydrate and then we'll finish reading this. Okay. Um yeah, enough yapping. Let's finish reading this. So, renaming. The first function we'll introduce here is rename. Just a second, let me make sure everything is running fine. Yes, it is. Okay, the first function we'll introduce here is rename, which lets you change index names and or column names. For example, to change the points column in our data set to score, we would do uh, reviews.rename columns point score. Wait, so you provide a dictionary? Okay, that's an interesting way. Okay, all right, so this way you can rename multiple columns at once. You provide it with a dictionary where the key is the original column name and the value is the new name. All right. Okay. Um, right. Rename lets you rename index or column values by specifying an index or column keyword parameter, respectively. Okay. It supports a variety of input formats, but usually a Python dictionary is the most convenient. Here's an example, using it to rename some elements of index so and so. Rename some elements of, okay, I'm a little confused here. So, okay, here I guess we should try testing this out. Okay. Um, yeah, let's say res equals reviews dot rename. Um, first, let's start with columns. Columns equals dictionary. Um, I need something that appears back up. First, let's take a look at all the columns that appear. So we have price, but I don't remember if price appears immediately. Oh, dude, I just remembered. I do need to set up a workflow where I can send this code to an IPython REPL, which I don't think I need to set anything up at this point anymore because I have Vim Slime. I just need to set up the IPython REPL and open it up on another machine, another screen where I'm gonna be able to see it. That's the main thing that I need to make sure of right now, is that I'm actually able to see the the output, because that way I can just have blocks of code that I can send to the IPython REPL, and immediately I can see everything in a much bigger screen, as opposed to opening opening this up and then seeing it here. I mean, I could also go to, like, a different window, but if I'm able to, actually, it doesn't have to be an IPython REPL. I just realized that I could just send, because the idea is sending tmux code, right? um so no, not tmux code. The idea is using tmux send keys command in order to send a bunch of keystrokes to another another tmux session slash window slash pane, and then running it there, right? So I could craft a command that sets that sends the keystrokes there uh, for running the script, and then hitting enter. But before that, clearing the screen and then running the script and hitting enter. So this way, I'm going to be seeing the entire output on a different screen after the screen has also been cleared. Yeah, yeah. This way, I'll have like a slightly bigger output. Anyways, um, what was I doing? Yeah, head. Yeah, I just wanted to see the columns. It does not show the column names, but yeah. So I think, all right, let's just print out the columns. So we have country, description, designation, points, price, province. So I guess we can do country. The thing is, this is not printing out in. Is there a better way to print this out? Uh, let me see if there's a slightly better way to print this out. Pandas print to std out. Using the print function directly. Okay. What's next? Data frame.toString. Okay. And then .2csv, which goes to std out, but then that gives us the CSV. That's not what I'm looking for. We can try yeah, let's try this. ToString. See how that looks. I'm not sure if this looks great. Let's try this. Yeah, yeah. I don't think this looks too good. Okay, you know what? I'm wasting my time. Let's continue reading. Oh yeah, I was trying to practice the um so we have rename index and rename column. So here's what we can do. Okay? We will rename the column um price, or just so we are able to see it early on. Country. We'll rename country to Lamau. Okay, and then we'll print out res dot um, columns. What does rename return? It returns a data frame. Okay. Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Give me a second here. Let's do that, and hopefully now we should be good. Yes, now we're good. That trailing comma, that trailing comma really helps. Okay, so our column name has changed there. And next, we can try reviews.rename index. And for index, we will do, oh yeah, for index, we need to specify the index itself, right? So we're going to assume that we have 0. 0 can be called first, and this can be called, now, you know what? 0th. And then first can be called first. Um, right. So then we can print out head and see what the we missed an S. Okay. All right. We need to print out lesser information. Yeah, there it is. 0th and first. There's our indices. Though, why does it seem like there's something on top? Was I trying to print out something previously? Hold on. Let's pipe this into. No, wait, let's not pipe it. Wait. Let's do it this way. Okay, so it does show. Yeah, yeah, okay. It does show the column name. And what I'm seeing here, I was wondering what that ERY was, but that's just the text being wrapped. So it's the winery, basically. I need to find better ways of printing this data onto into standard out, because one way that I found to visualize this was using two CSV. Hold on just a second. I forgot how we specify std out. I think if we don't specify a path, it might wait, let's Where is path? Okay, default none. Okay, okay, okay. What was the method for writing? Yeah, wait, let me Google this. Pandas, data frame, right, data frame to CSV, std out, and pass system.std out as the path or buffer argument. Okay, all right. So let's do that then. Um, sys.std out and index equals false. Right, what was I gonna show with this? Yeah, so I can then do something like this where I pass I print out the data as CSV, but then I pipe that input into Data, and then I'm able to see the data like this. I feel like this would also be a very interesting workflow to set up because if I'm using Vim Slime, I could set up two separate functions where one just prints to standard out and the other prints to standard out and pipes it to Data. And then on the other machine, I can, explore with Data because we have the entire, it's not the entire data set, but at least what was printed. I could do something like, yeah, I could do 20. We can change head to 20 and then we'll have more data. Yeah. So this is our first 20 rows. Not sure why there's a none at the end. I think that's something for me to explore. See, even though I exported 20 rows, it's still showing 21 rows. So that's something for me to explore later on and see why it's doing that. But hold on, where is the this is res, right? Yeah, index 0 and oh, it doesn't export the index. So let's export the index so we can actually see the index and then we'll see the effect of our what we just did. So there's 0 and first, and if I would have done the columns thing, which is this res. Wait, so first we're doing the columns, right? That's review.rename, reviews.rename. So that's res and then res dot so and so, which is then index. Okay. Yeah. What was I doing? Yeah. Okay. So here you can now see the country says Lamau and our index is 0th and first. Great. Awesome. So what I just did here, by the way, this is something that I want to try and do on another machine. So like I could send this uh, this sequence of commands or this one command. I can do uh, Python 3.12 py02.py and then pipe it into VD. And of course, on the other machine, um, actually, it's not on the other machine. It's not running on the other machine. It's running in another session. Or it could also be another. I mean, I usually separate the sessions just for the sake of simplicity. It could be the same session as well. I could just open up this same session because it's tmux, right? So I could through SSH I could attach to this exact same session, but instead of having this coding window open, I can have this window open instead. And so from here, I could configure Vim's line to send the code to, what is it, window 28. Window 28, pane 0. And then on the other machine, this is what I'm going to see. So then on the other machine, I just need to hit Q to close it. And then I can restart the process. Oh, I probably don't even need to. Actually, I'll have to see how to go about doing that because maybe I could simulate the key press of Q. I have to see. I don't know because there were certain caveats with um, being able to send key presses, stuff like trying to simulate Control B and then something that would get a little bit complicated. But I think a simple Q key press should work. I think so. I'll have to explore that. But yeah, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And I kind of like this. I kind of like this method as well. Each time I can just fire up Visi data, um, and you know, um, what was I what was I saying? Yeah, each time I can just fire up Visi data, it opens up the data like really quick. It doesn't take time at all, and nothing gets truncated either. If I'm printing to standard out, then it's going to get truncated. Here I can control how much I can control like what data I'm sending, and then I can make everything fit within the screen, which to be fair, I could control it there as well. But like here, there's a lot more freedom because like I can, actually scroll through the entire data set, at least the data that's been exported. Right. So that is our rename. Now, let me go to the next window. Okay. All right. So that is renaming the index. You'll probably rename columns very often, but rename index values very rarely. For that, set index is usually more convenient. Both the row index and the column index can have their own name attribute. I'm here, by the way. Yeah. Both the row index and the column index can have their own name attribute. The complementary rename access method may be used to change these names. I did not understand that. Hold on. Both row index and column index can have their own name attribute. The complementary rename access method may be used to change these names. Okay. Wait, I'm kind of confused here. Let's try this out. Let's test this out. Actually, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it here. Um, rename axis. All right. Mapper. Scalar list like optional. Okay. Value to set the axis name attribute. Index, columns, scalar, list like is dictionary like or fun. By the way, I've been wondering if I should do this because, like, I have the space to do it, even though I like having the matrix rain happening here. Oh shit, we are losing frames. What just happened? Okay, we are losing frames. Back up, back up. Are we good now? Hold on just a second. I'm gonna give it some time to stabilize. And in the meantime, let me just work on what I was working on or what I was planning on working on. So I kind of wanted to increase the size for this, like this, so it's a little more visible. And maybe bring it here, I guess. I don't know. I'm not completely sure of how I want to approach this because I could do it something like this. Wait, you guys can't see that. Yeah, I could do something like this. Let me see if that showed up yet. Give me a second. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I could do something like that. Oh, are we losing frames again? No, we are good. Okay. I could do something like that because it seems like a bit of a waste that the coding section is down, or well, the coding section is small and like on the side, whereas I am doing like quite a bit of coding on the NeoVim side. So it seems like a bit of a waste if that screen ends up being small, and then the screen that I'm um, not very actively doing stuff in, which is this, the tutorial page, that ends up being a lot bigger. I don't know. Oh, I could. Okay, what if I did something like this? Hold on. I'll have to change the order in which it's being shown and then increase the size and then transition. Now, how does that look? I do need to remember that the chat is also going to take up a certain. Oh, you know what I could do? Actually, yeah, okay, I could bring this down here, but then it's kind of like taking up too much of the tutorial section. I don't know. I kind of like that aesthetic of I kind of liked this aesthetic where there was this matrix rain. Hold on. I'm saying this aesthetic as if you guys can see it. I kind of like this aesthetic where there's a matrix rain on top. But the problem is everything else ends up looking small then. And like especially the code, it looks like super small and that's not really helping anything. You know what? Okay. For 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 now we can stick with this. What was I doing? Yeah, rename axis. I was looking at rename axis. I'm not sure what this is doing. Oh, I did not realize that. Um, I didn't realize that we have axes for each of the indices. So, like for the row index and for the column index, we have an axis that we can actually name. Currently, there's no name for it. But also, if I renamed it in this way, then I don't know if, okay, let's say sum O1, axis call, was it? No, axis rows, and then rename axis, and this one can be sum O2, axis columns. Okay, so we'll save that and then come here. Wait, what just happened? Hold on, what did I just, I don't know. Anyways. Oh, maybe that's what I deleted. Oh, yeah, okay, that's what I deleted. Okay, okay. Right, whatever. Um, okay. So maybe, that didn't help. Let's change head to 2. Okay, I'm not able to. Okay, wines and fields. Yeah, I need to find a different way to sort of display this because Data doesn't do well with multi-indexing, and I don't know if this somehow comes under that. I don't think exactly it's multi-indexing, but I'm not sure if Data is actually able to handle displaying this because it didn't show. You know what? We can try that here maybe. We have the notebook open. We'll need to run this first, and while that is running, I will set it up here. Okay, okay, this can come later. Res equals reviews dot rename underscore axis um, sum O1 axis equals rows, and then rename underscore axis sum O2 axis equals columns. Okay, session started. Awesome. All right, then we want to print out this. Well, head is 5, so it's fine. Right, there it is. So we have some O2 and some O1. So there's separate axes. I need to explore this a little more because I'm not entirely sure what this entails. Because without this, if we just printed the thing out, there would be no name for the axis. So if we did reviews.head, then this is what we get. There's no name for it. So I'm confused as to what was I saying? Yeah, I'm confused as to what that is doing exactly. Anyways, we can carry on. So next comes combining, which is here. Okay, when performing operations on a data set, we will sometimes need to combine different data frames and or series in non-trivial ways. Pandas has three core methods for doing this. In order of increasing complexity, these are concat, join, and merge. Most of what merge can do can be done more simply with join. So we'll omit it and focus on the first two functions here. All right. Okay. This is useful when we have data in different. No, wait, hold on. I missed something here. Okay. The simplest combining method is concat. Given a list of elements, this function will smush together elements along an axis. This is useful when we have data in different data frame or series objects, but having the same fields or columns. One example is the YouTube videos data set. Oh, finally, okay. Finally, we are using a different data set now. Um, Hold on. Yeah, one example, the YouTube videos data set, splits the data up by which splits the data up based on country of origin. Example, Canada and the UK in this example. If we want to study multiple countries simultaneously, we can use concat to smush them together. Okay, so then the the number of columns have to be the same, and I think even the column names and data types have to be the same as well, right? So when you're doing concat, then hold up, let's practice this here. Um, should I create a new thing or nah? We can do it here. It's fine. Um, all right. Canadian YouTube equals pd.read csv, and then the path is datasets YouTube new, I think. Yeah, YouTube new, CA videos, and then GB videos. GB is for British. Um, so we have British underscore YouTube, and then this is loading gb.csv. All right, great. Now let's try printing out stuff from both of these. Let's say print Canadian YouTube dot head. Why does it look like that? What's going on? There seems to be an error. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering where the extra parentheses came from at the end over here when I was erasing it, but then I didn't see that on the other side also there was one. Yeah, we should be fine now. IntelliSense was having some trouble for a bit there because of the confusion. To CSV, um, std out, index, false. Okay. Actually, here. Oh God. Why? Really? Okay. Okay. We're just gonna ignore that. Um, so what I load 5 rows from this data set, and in the first five itself, we have this. Wow. All right. Okay. So this is our 5 rows from the Canadian uh, YouTube data set. Okay. Let's also try this. What happens? Hold on. Yeah. What if I print twice? What does that look like? Can we actually print twice like that? Oh, we can. Dude, that's crazy. I should keep that in mind. Printing twice to standard out. And I think at the end here, it might be passing like a null or something, which is why it's adding a none row. And in this case, I just realized that this might be helpful because this creates a nice separator, a nice divider. So something that I could do here is change this to um, British YouTube, and then come here and run this. And here is our data. So it doesn't mention the name of the data set, which, to be fair, like, I mean, we're just printing out the data. So on top, we have our Canadian YouTube data set, and at the bottom, we have our, um, what was it? British. I keep thinking German YouTube, but yeah, our British YouTube data set. Right. Moving on to concat. Um, so we could print, what is it? pd.concat. Actually, let's put that into a variable for simplicity. pd.concat. That's our function, and that we pass in Canadian YouTube dot head and what is it? I keep thinking German, dude. It's British. British YouTube dot head. So it's just the first 10 rows. Then in print we want to print res.tocsv, but print it out to standard out and index false. Okay, I can also comment these two out. And now when we go back there and run this, it should put all of them together and then display it to us. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So that is our concat command. Great. Awesome. The middlemost combiner in terms of complexity is join. Join lets you combine different data frame objects which have an index in common. Actually, yeah, I should probably try to look at the index as well. Yeah, okay. So if I want the index to look proper here, export. I need to reset the index and then export it. Reset index and then that. So now if we load this up, yep, there it is. Wait, so I'm seeing two indices here. Were there no indices before? Backup. So let's say false. Okay. It does have index, and I think the reason for that is because I didn't specify index here. So if I specify index call, I think they did specify it there, but I didn't specify it here. Index call 0. Right, so now if I do this, yeah, okay, okay, there it is. Backup. Though I'm confused here about, oh, because it's exporting with the index. That's what I was confused about. Okay, cool, cool, great. Glad that I remembered that. Okay, so what's the next thing here? Okay, join lets you combine different data frame objects which have an index in common. For example, to pull down videos that happen to be trending on the same day in both Canada and the UK, we could do the following. Okay, left dot join, left suffix, right suffix. Suffix, wait, isn't this creating a multi-indexed? Oh, because I think it's because we are setting multiple indices. Okay. Let's hold on just a minute here. I think we're having some internet issues again, maybe, possibly. Give me a second here. All right. Okay. So the L suffix and right suffix parameters are necessary because the data has the same column names in both British and Oh, okay. So this is combining both the columns. This is combining the columns of both of them while maintaining, because it's the same date, and the date and what else? The title and the trending date. They are the indices. But do they have the same date, or do they have the same title in both? Pull down videos that happen to be trending on, okay. No, they don't have the exact same videos. What's that going to look like though? Hold on. Let's test that out. Also, I don't know how Data is going to show this multi-indexed thing. Um, I'm not sure if it's going to do it very well. Just a second here. Okay. Res equals pd dot join. No, hold on, dude. I'm a little confused here about, and this is where studying multi-indexing is necessary, because this is also creating multiple indices here. Okay, hold on. For the sake of displaying the multiple indices properly, I could do, I just realized that I didn't have that video in, I didn't have that window in focus, and so you guys couldn't see what's going on there. Anyways, uh let's move on to this and test the thing out here. So res equals, no, left. Left equals Canadian YouTube. Did they load those? I don't. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, hold on. I take back what I said, because here now they're using the YouTube data set, and then now here they're using the Reddit data set that was there. And down here they're using the powerlifting. I take back whatever I said, because I was thinking that they're not using a bunch of the data sets that were mentioned, but it turns out that they used a lot of them in the very last chapter. So far we've been using the wine data set a lot, and then there's just a second here. We still haven't used the pitchfork or chess or Kepler or a couple of the others, but yeah, we are using a couple of the data sets from this list of data sets. Okay, back here. I need a way to test this thing out. So here's what we're gonna do. Now, hold up. We can um, wait, let's do it down here. So left equals Canadian YouTube dot set index. Is that what it was? Set index. Set index. So, okay, quick thing. There's something I need to figure out a workflow here to get rid of this because I definitely want IntelliSense, and I like that the function definition pops up, the function signature or whatever, all this information pops up, right? But um, I think because of how small my screen is, or rather, well, my screen is not small. I've zoomed in, because of which the amount of text that can fit in the screen, it ends up being a little bit small. And so when I'm looking at a function, then it kind of like occludes the code when I'm looking at the function information. So I need a way to be able to kind of escape out of this. Currently, the only way that I have is to move the cursor to where it's not looking at the function. Move the cursor out of the parentheses where the function is being called. But okay, anyways, title and trending underscore date. Wait, okay, so we can change this to right and change this to British, and it's the same title and trending. Okay, right. So we can save this and print. For now, I need. How do I want to print this out? Because I don't want to print this out as a CSV right now. Okay, let's just print out head and see what I see here. Okay, so we have title and description and trending date and channel title. These are all on like different lines. Well, no, not exactly. Channel title is on a different line, description is on a different line, and then title and trending date are on different lines. Oh, I just realized what this is. Okay, so description is it's being wrapped. So it's like, because there's a lot of columns. There's 13 columns, so it's kind of like wrapping the thing. Description is the very last column. Okay, what if I try to print it out with, no, how do you use lock with, oh, okay. So it's multi-index, right? Let's say I don't specify, okay, so let's do ilock. Okay. Let's do, oh shit. Yeah, we can't do that. No. We need it to be head. So it's only 5, and then we do this, and here we specify 0 1 and 0 1 2 3. Okay. Okay, it's still a lot because I think it's because the title is big. Yeah, that might be the reason. What if I, okay, at this point, so ilock is returning, what is ilock returning? A data frame, right? Okay, I forgot. ilock is not a function. How do I find out what it's returning exactly? Okay, I'm gonna assume that it returns a data frame. Okay, keeping in mind that it's returning a data frame, um, what was I gonna do? Yeah, I forgot why I was doing this. I forgot. Hold on. Oh, 2CSV. Yeah, let's see if 2CSV works. Standard out. We can export the index. That's fine. Actually, we kind of need the index because this is a multi-index thing. So I don't know how. Yeah, that's our CSV. I don't know how that's going to be displayed. Yeah, yeah, that's not working. Yeah, multi-index. Can I not do multi-indexed? Hold on. Pandas, Visi data. Okay, Visi data pandas multi-index. Visidata can work with Pandas data frames, including those with multi-index structures, although its native display and interaction model differs slightly from how Pandas itself visualizes multi-index. When you load a Pandas data frame with a multi-index into Visidata, Visidata will represent the multi-index levels as regular columns within the Visidata sheet. Each level of the multi-index will appear as a separate column, allowing you to sort, filter, and manipulate these levels as you would any other column in Visidata. I did not get that. So what are our two columns? Our two columns are title and trending date. How do I know that one is, how do I know that both of these are indices? And then these are all the columns. I I feel like before moving forward with this, maybe I should go and explore multi-indexing and learn multi-indexing because I haven't fully understood how to use multi-indexing. Yeah, I don't fully understand how to use multi-indexing. Because like from my point of view, it seems like it would be kind of like accessing a jagged array, not a multi-dimensional array. It would be more like accessing a jagged array. So in one column, in one index, you can then access the second, and how do I say this? You access the first index, and then under that index, how many other indices are there in the second index? You can access those. But then if you access a different first index, then you can only access the second indices that are within that second index. That doesn't make sense. Okay, hold on. Before we move forward with this, let's see let's see what this exercise is asking us to do. Okay, Let's try and apply whatever we have learned in this. So we're going to run the setup and then run this and run this. So it prints the first five. So that's our data set. Okay. Region 1 and Region 2 are pretty uninformative names for locale columns in the dataset. Create a copy of reviews with these columns renamed to region and locale. Okay, so this has to be reviews dot um, rename, and then I think we had to specify columns, right? And then we give a dictionary. So region underscore one becomes region, and then region underscore two becomes locale. Are we good? Yes, we are good. Awesome. So let's also take a look at the hint and solution. Okay, right. Set the index name uh, in the dataset to wines. Okay, reviews dot, I think it was rename index. Is that it? That's not it. Let me take a look at the, let me take a look at the function. So reviews dot rename. Oh, it's we specify backup. No, hold on. Set the index name in the dataset to wines. Set the index name. Set the index name. Okay, there's a couple of ways that we can go about this, right? There was rename axis where we could specify wines, and what we want to control is the rows. Yeah. So I think it's axis equals rows. Oh, that's it. Okay. So what's the hint and solution? Uh, use rename axis method. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Good to keep that in mind. Right. The things on Reddit dataset includes product links from a selection of top ranked forums or subreddits on reddit.com. Run the cell below to load the data frame of products mentioned on the R gaming subreddit. Um, wait, how many is this loading? Okay. R gaming subreddit and another data frame for products mentioned on the R movies subreddit. So it's loading the data frame, and then it's setting the it's setting the subreddit category to R gaming. Okay, let's run that. Oh, and also for the next one, it's setting the subreddit category to R movies. Create a data frame of products mentioned on either subreddit. I'm just gonna throw this one out there and see if it works. Gaming underscore products and movie underscore products. Okay, great. That works. I think because I need to figure out in what situations can it fail. I wonder if it would still join properly if both the data frames had different columns, or if um, both of them had the same columns, but one of them had an extra column, which the other one doesn't have. But other than that, both of them have the same columns. So then, in that situation, what would the behavior be? Okay, so that's good. Then, the powerlifting database dataset on Kaggle includes one CSV table for powerlifting meets and a separate one for powerlifting competitors. Run the cell below to load these datasets into data frames. Okay, and then run, no, both tables include references to a meet ID, a unique key for each meet or competition included in the database. Using this, generate a dataset combining the two tables into one. Using this, generate a dataset combining um, the two tables into one. Oh wow, this is the last one. Okay, so I'm guessing we're going to be using the join method here. Now, what all did we use in the join method previously? Let's take a look at the text here. Okay, so we had L suffix and R suffix, but that was for same name columns. Do we need that here? Wait, so powerlifting competitors and powerlifting meets. Let's take a look at the columns in each of them. Print powerlifting competitor. Oh God, dude, this is so long. Competitors dot columns. Can I just change the? Yeah, I don't think they're gonna care. So let's say PM and PC. This is so long to type, dude. Especially without IntelliSense. Right. So we're gonna run this. I hope it's not relying on a variable name, because that's gonna cause problems. But okay. So powerlifting this, and then powerlifting meets. So let's take a look at the columns in both of them. They have different columns, but they have the same index, as in they have the same meet ID. So I could join them. Yes, I could join them. And then they would all be like side by side. Um, and then the meet ID can be the index. But how do we specify the index? Join left and right, set index, set index. Okay. So let's try this out. Okay. PC.set sex. Okay, great. Awesome. PC.set index. What did I just do? Yeah. PC.set index meet ID. Let's delete this. I don't know why this became okay. Set index meet ID PM dot set index meet ID. We need to set these as well. So PC equals this and PM equals this, and then we join. Okay, what if we print out PC dot head? What does set index return? Give me a second here. It returns a data set, a data frame. None of meet ID are in the columns. What? Did I spell the thing wrong? Okay. What just happened? Hold on. So we're gonna run that again. Okay, and then we're gonna run this again. And this time it works. So now we have a meet ID. Why is it showing up as like this? What's going on here? Yeah, I'm confused about this. Why is it showing up as that? But other than that, we should be fine to just join the thing, right? So if we are following this, I'm just kind of like copying that code. We want to join something into something, right? What did they say to join into what? Um, Using this generated data set, combining the two tables. Oh, they just said combine the two tables. That's it. So then we would say PC dot join PM, and I don't think we need to provide any suffixes or anything. I'm not seeing any recurring names. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we don't need to set this over and over again. Just once is enough. And it is successful. Great. Awesome. So now we're going to copy this over here. Okay, and then bring this here. Oh, yeah, let's run that again. And run this again. Yes. Awesome. Great. Amazing. Before we read this, let's take a look at the hint and see if there's anything we could have done a little bit better, maybe. Give me a second here. My machine is starting to struggle, which is just as well because fortunately we finished this. And yeah, I'm glad that they didn't make us do multi-indexing stuff because you know what? I think I'm gonna explore multi-indexing today after the stream. I'm not gonna start the what do you call it? Intermediate machine learning just yet. I will get to it, but first I want to mess around with multi-indexing and kind of wrap my head around it, just in case I ever end up in that situation again where there's multiple indices or multi-indexing involved. Actually, the thing is, I'm going to be in situations where multi-indexing is involved. Oh, this is interesting. You know, something that I've noticed is that um, with pandas, the way that the API is designed, you are able to often string multiple actions together, multiple commands together, and put everything into like one line. Like, look at this: powerlifting meets dot set index, and then join it with this. This is clever. I did not think about doing it in this way. To be fair, optimization isn't really on my mind when I'm trying to complete an exercise. I'm sure at a later point, if I was trying to, you know, shorten it further, then maybe my mind would have gone towards, you know, this kind of design. Okay, now let's read the final cell. Congratulations. You finish the pandas micro course. Many data scientists feel efficiency with pandas is the most useful practical skill they have. Hell yeah. Because it allows you to progress quickly in any project you have. If you'd like to apply your new skills to examine geospatial data, you're encouraged to check out our geospatial analysis micro course. You can also take advantage of your pandas skills by entering a Kaggle competition or by answering a question you find interesting using Kaggle datasets. Okay, that's surprising that they are suggesting jumping to geospatial analysis. Where's Kaggle learn? Here, because geospatial analysis comes like a lot later. It's like much later. So it's kind of interesting that they're suggesting doing that. However, yeah, I do also want to join Kaggle competitions and see how that can help me kind of sharpen my skills with pandas and scikit-learn and stuff like that. I definitely do want to keep practicing stuff, whatever it is, to sharpen my pandas skills because I do have quite a bit more to learn when it comes to pandas. There's a lot to explore when it comes to pandas. There's a lot of concepts that I would like to wrap my head around, and there's also just foundations that I would like to solidify. Because when I'm working with these data sets, the majority of the time I'm going to be using pandas to pull data, write data, manipulate data, filter data, and do all sorts of stuff with the data set. So yeah, yeah. I will definitely check out the Kaggle datasets section. I think I did check it out a couple days back. I'm looking for like toy datasets which I can play around with. I kind of need something that's going to be like, oh, here's a puzzle or here's a exercise that you can do which can sharpen your skills. Fortunately, Kaggle does have like those fun competitions that they do, I think, every month, which I'm gonna be actually, yeah, that's one of them that I have to check out. There's this one. Where is it? This one. Prediction road accident risk. This thing started like a couple days ago, I think. Um, Maybe 1 or 2 days ago. I don't remember. So I might just join this and see what I can do. Let me explore this and maybe join the discussions and try to learn from other people as well. Though I don't think I'm going to be jumping directly to geospatial analysis. I am curious though, because they mentioned geospatial analysis, whereas geospatial analysis, though okay, I don't think all of them are meant to be in like a chronological order. I think with some of them they've just set the order in a certain way. Um, because like okay, with machine learning or with intermediate machine learning, you might need pandas, right? With machine learning, you would need Python basics. With pandas, you would need Python basics as well, right? Those are like prerequisites. With geospatial analysis, it's saying that it builds on pandas, and geospatial stuff involves like a lot of data. It's also a different kind of data. It's not like the stuff that we've been dealing with so far. So that should be interesting because I believe they also go into visualization to a certain extent. However, um, we haven't covered what do you call it? Data visualization yet. We haven't gone through that course. I'm guessing that's why they put geospatial analysis like later on, like after data visualization as well. Though it's not like a an absolute necessity. but it'll help if you're already familiar with some kind of visualization library. I'll see. Let me explore this a little bit, and I'll see if I feel like going through this or continuing on my path, which was, by the way, let's see our 100% shown over here. Hell yeah, let's go. So we have officially finished the pandas course, and now we will move on to intermediate machine learning. I'm going to explore the geospatial analysis thing because I am kind of interested in what this thing was saying, that yeah, you can check out geospatial analysis for practicing like whatever it just said. Though I can also explore Kaggle competitions and Kaggle data sets and stuff like that. Maybe other people have made like notebooks with fun puzzles, you know. Because dude, the thing is, if they've provided a certain what do you call it? Oh, this is interesting. I didn't pay attention to this. So this prepares you. So Pandas prepares you for geospatial analysis, data cleaning, and intermediate machine learning. Interesting. Okay. Uh, then we have. Okay, so this is done, and next is, yeah, I think it is intermediate machine learning. I just need to confirm that. Give me a second here. Okay. Um, okay, Kaggle learn. I'm just checking this out on another machine. Okay, so it goes intro to programming, Python, intro to machine learning, pandas, and then intermediate machine learning, and then data visualization. Then we have feature engineering, intro to SQL, intro to no, advanced SQL, then intro to deep learning, computer vision, time series, data cleaning, intro to AI ethics, and then geospatial analysis. Look at how far away it is. It is like way deep down in the list. It is actually towards the end because after geospatial analysis we have machine learning explainability, and then intro to game AI and reinforcement learning. Now, you know what? Yeah, I think we're going to start with we're going to continue down this course, down this path, and next in the list is intermediate machine learning. So that is what we are going to be exploring next. Now, for the sake of practicing my pandas skills, I'm going to start, and actually practicing my machine learning skills as well. I'm going to start participating in Kaggle competitions. I'm going to start, well, I mean, these are Kaggle competitions. I'm going to start participating in the competitions that are being hosted by Kaggle itself. That's what I meant. So like the swag competitions, and definitely I'm gonna do terrible the first time that I'm joining the competition, but I'm looking forward to learning from other people, because quite often when you look at the competition, they have a discussion section where people are able to discuss how to do various things, what they are doing, why they are doing it. There are also a lot of like experts who give their who shared their knowledge of how you can go about doing various things. Um, Playground. I'm looking for playground. Where is that? Playground. Okay. All right. Predict road accident risk. Let that load up. Yeah. So the thing started 2 days ago, and we have a month to go. Right. So here in the competition, you have these different tabs, right? You have data, you have code, models, and then discussion. Under discussion, you'll often find people discussing like various things and sharing their knowledge. People asking doubts and also sharing their own knowledge, which you can learn a lot from. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start participating in these while side by side also, going through the Kaggle courses. And hell yeah, dude. I'm curious about what this is saying because the introduction and intermediate machine learning it says it's reviewing what you need for this course. Let's take a look at what that says. All right, so there's two more data sets that we have to download here. Okay, welcome to Kaggle's Intermediate Machine Learning course. If you don't have some background in machine learning and you'd like to learn how to quickly improve the quality of your models, you're in the right place. In this course, you will accelerate your machine learning expertise by learning how to tackle data types often found in real world data sets, design pipelines to improve the quality of your machine learning code, use advanced techniques for model validation, build state of the art models that are widely used to win Kaggle competitions, and avoid common and important data science mistakes. Along the way, you'll apply your knowledge by completing a hands on exercise with real world data for each new topic. The hands on exercises use data from the housing prices competition Kaggle learn users. Okay. So I had asked this question in the Kaggle forum or in the discussions forum or what I'm not sure what to call it. Um, I'd asked this question because I was curious about where they were getting the Iowa data set from. I still don't know where they got it from, but I wonder if I look for the look for the competition, if I can find the competition page, I wonder if the data set might be listed there because this doesn't just this course, this notebook doesn't just list data sets, it also mentions the competition. So I wonder if somehow there's a data set attached to that competition and then that gets loaded in. But yeah, we finished the pandas course. Hell yeah. Awesome. Give me a second here. Just a second, guys. Man, I found a good stream to raid, but then the person's in fucking follower only and I can't raid that person. Give me a second here. Looking for someone else. All right. You know what? We're gonna go with this person. I have no idea what this person is doing. They're playing some kind of game. Um, I don't know what they're playing. The thing says share your art. Open art share, so and so, so and so. Yeah, you know what? We'll go check out this person. Okay, so I'm gonna set up the raid. All right, dude, we made some good progress today. Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Yay us. Awesome. We finally finished the pandas course. Off stream, I need to remember that off stream I need to go and explore multi-indexing and properly understand it before I move on to intermediate machine learning. And yeah, the next thing we're going to be learning is intermediate machine learning. Hell yeah. And after that is data visualization, which is another fun topic to explore, which we're going to be doing using Seaborn. So I'm excited for that as well. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's stream. Hopefully, I'm going to stream again tomorrow. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.